bringing out stomach acid. Don't stop the enzymes.
What do you say?
I said, it sounds like it's saying bringing down the stomach acid. Don't stop the enzymes.
Bringing down the stomach acid.
Stomach acid with the soda, but then the lipase and the protease working.
Well, if the stomach isn't acid enough, it's not breaking food enough to be even for the it's not gonna break the food down small pieces. So it needs a lot of surface area probably for the enzymes to attach to the molecules instead of having a bunch of undigested food.
Alrighty. Yeah, hopefully everything should be right now. Hopefully you can hear me now. You should be able to hear me all right now. I didn't even think about that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully there was nothing that she doesn't want you guys to hear talking about. She was talking about. If so, I might have to. Well, I guess I'll listen back to this if it's or maybe I might have to cut off the first part with her talking or whatever. Nevertheless, though, thank you for being on. Appreciate you all. Thankful and grateful to have you on with us. Like I said, we're going to be real quick. As you can see at the rest area with a rack of trucks. Yeah, you see trucks leaving and things like that. Tonight I wanted to focus on the mindset real quick, right? Now she's talking healthy about herbs. Okay, that's what's up. I don't want any incriminating evidence on here. No. But yeah, so how you guys doing? Don Patron, I feel like long time no talk to. Welcome. So, like I said, we don't really have too much time. Hopefully it's not too windy. And then as I said, the wind picks up, and then we pray against the wind that it won't be too much a problem for us to make sure that we're on here. Matter of fact, it won't be a problem at all. In Yahweh's name, Amen. So, but we stopped here. Actually stopped here a little earlier than I was attempting to. But nevertheless, we're here. Got to get back on the road traveling. Probably got about, 4 or 5 more hours to go. So y'all keep us in prayer. And prayerfully we'll be able to hit our destination with swiftness and really more so than anything else, just safely. And I'll see you guys in the Rising at 8 a.m. Eastern New York time. But I wanted to once again talk about the mindset. And once again, we give all praise and honor to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. In New York time. But I wanted to once again talk about the mindset. And once again, we give all praise and honor to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. All right, sorry about that. Looks like we're going in and out as far as signal. We give all honor and praise to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. We give all praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya. We give all honor and praise to Him for each and every one of you. And just wanted to once again talk real quick about the mindset. All right. If I were to give people who have a hood mindset, and I'm not even mad at a hood mindset, let's just say a mindset of where we're going to take stuff and do wrong with it financially, I could give millions of dollars. I can give $50 million to people in the ghetto, so to speak, when we use that word. Okay, wow. So to speak, when we use that word, I could give $50 million to those people who are in, quote, the ghetto, unquote. And if they have a mindset of spending money without purpose, without mindset, without thought process, it'll remain the ghetto. If I give it to a group of people who live in a nice neighborhood, but they have the mindset of quote unquote, quote, the ghetto, unquote, they will turn it into a ghetto as well, right? If I talk to some people though, and I talk about, and I give somebody who lives in quote, the ghetto, unquote, and they have a mindset to do great things, then it doesn't matter how much money, or it doesn't matter how much money they have, they'll find a way to be able to live by a higher standard, right? What do I mean by that? There are people, they actually have shows on this, by the way. There are people that they give $100 to. Now, these are people that know how to invest in everything, but there's people that they literally give $100 to. They take that $100 and they're able to turn that $100 by the end of the month into a place to be able to live, easy access to things, etc. Right? Only give them $100, don't have a place to stay. Maybe they get a hotel room, most, but they just kind of leave them with $100 in the middle of nowhere. If you know how to make money work for you, you can do a lot more because you have a different mindset, right? And so a lot of us are like waiting on the blessing. We're waiting on finances. We're waiting on the Most High is going to give me this. He's going to give me that. The mindset is what counts. All the stuff we've been talking about is about your mindset. You know, if you come from a poor mindset, you're going to have poor children. You know why? Because you're going to have your poor children in a poor house, and you're going to have your poor children and get a poor education. Their poor education is going to cause them to have poor jobs. Their poor jobs are going to cause them to have a poor house. That poor house is going to cause them to be able to continue and be in the same situation, right? Right? You're dealing with that same situation. You're dealing with that same situation of poverty. An impoverished mind brings about a manifestation of an impoverished being. And a lot of us, not only just poor as far as finances, poor mentally, spiritually, emotionally, etc. Right? And a lot of people are doing this, right? Like a lot of us are stuck in the system and stuck in a position to where we're sitting here still with a poor mindset, poor attitude, poor aptitude, poor eating habits, right? Poor things whatsoever. There's actually a guy, I'm trying not to talk too loud about him or whatever, but I've stopped at this rest stop a lot of times, and it's this guy, his whole job, especially when he sees, now it's a black guy, but his whole thing is when he sees black people, he basically does everything he can to like look to see what we're going to do that's wrong, right? He's been around me the whole time I've been doing this live. Usually I wouldn't show you, well, I'm going to act like I'm not showing him to you. I don't know if you'll even be able to see him. You can barely see him in the background there, right? But basically, poor mentality, right? And so every time I see him, he's always looking to see everything is, he's always surprised that we pull up. He's always surprised that we have a vehicle that's nicer than what he expects. He's always surprised that we speak different languages, things like that, right? Poor mindset. So probably been here for years, and he looks great for the area that he's in as far as like his uniform and everything, spot on. It's pressed. He's got creases in it. But he's sitting up here going around trying to make sure that this state, he works here, trying to make sure that this state, state rest area or whatever is taken care of. And not trying to make fun of him or anything. I'm just trying to show you a poor mindset, right? If the mindset is I'm going to look for somebody to do wrong, that's crab in the barrel mentality. That's as far as you go, right? If your mindset, if your vision is just simply, hey man, I'm going to be really good in this one area and I'm going to protect it even against my own people. And that's just one example. There's many people that do a lot of stuff very similar to that, right? But they have a poor mindset. Poor mindset. Do something, do all this stuff to make sure others are taken care of. We have like how many athletes, how many stars, how many athletes, how many stars do we have? How many actors do we have? How many musicians do you have? How many rappers do you have? And yet all these people, think about this. All these stars, when they get ready to go back and they get ready to play basketball or whatever, and they start practicing and playing with one another before they start to split, to go to their own teams and start working out. When they're playing with each other during the summer, that they don't go to any places that they own, which is crazy, right? How do you not go to your own gym? Right? How do you not make sure that you're playing in your own gym? Not gym that you have at your house. It's interesting. You'll have a basketball court at your house, but won't think to actually just go ahead and get a gym. I mean, your name is LeBron James. Your name is Kevin Durant. Your name is Kyrie Irving. Your name is Ben Simmons. Your name is Joel Embiid. Your name is whatever, right? Like, all you have to do is put your name on a building. And it could be rickety, and people would still come there just because you're there, right? You could get a rickety building, not even clean it up and call it the warehouse. And people would be like, oh, I'm going to the warehouse to play with, maybe we're going to see LeBron James and how he works out. Like, that's all you'd have to do, But nobody is thinking about it, right? Because there's a mindset that says, hey, when we go back, we need to go play at UCLA. Why? Right? We need to go to their gym. We need to go to their field. Right? It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Why is it that you don't have a mindset to do for self? right? It's a mindset that says that we have to. This is why people get perturbed. They come on here during the live session, especially in the rising sessions, and people get very frustrated, don't they? Because they keep waiting for me to capitulate. They keep waiting for me to say, well, all right, we've proven that your way is this. They keep waiting for me to say things in a manner where they'll finally say, okay, I agree with what you're saying. And the reality is like, you're not my standard. I'm not here to agree with you. Right? I'm not saying that I'm here to mismanage you. I'm not saying that I'm here to say that I'm better than you. I'm not here to say that I shouldn't listen to you at all. But I'm not here to agree with you. We don't have to agree. We can live well and treat each other with respect and still not agree on every single thing that comes out of our mouths. Right? But it's a mindset thing. But we have a thing to where we're looking for others to agree. We're the only people left on the planet that are doing that. There's some serious psychological damage done to a mindset of a people where you're the only people on the planet that are waiting for other people to approve. Right? You know why black men, well, let me not call them black men. You know why, or maybe let's do this. You know why black adult men with the minds of boys, right, get on these apps and talk so bad about our sisters? You want to know why that is? Real quick. This is real quick and easy for you. You know why that is? It's because they talk bad about them because basically they trying to get black girls to act like white girls. And if they act like white girls, that means that white men would approve of them, even though white men are still going to marry white girls and not these black girls. Right? Sorry to say it like that, but let's keep it 100. Right? You know why black women get on here and trash, or let me say that once again, why black adult women with the minds of little girls get on here and talk bad about black men is because that they think that if black men act like white men, it means that white men would approve their black men, which would make their white men go up in value. Or they'll try to see if they can just get with a white man because, you know, they think they have this weird belief that makes them believe that if you're white, you'll automatically have good credit or something crazy like that. Or if you're white, you can have a baby with a white man and he'll have good hair or whatever that means, right? That's all that it is. It's a mindset. You won't build your own community. You won't look to be a helpmeet to your own man, right? But then talk bad about them while you're helping other men to keep power. And then while those men are keeping power and still mistreating everything, you'll blame black men who you're actually fighting against because you're helping who you say is the enemy to make sure that you continue to be in a position of power. Right? Like that's where we are. It's a mindset change. Could you imagine if black men and black women just said, you know, we're going to work together. We're going to go through coaching ourselves, going through a mindset shift, a paradigm shift within ourselves. We're going to do that constantly, consistently within ourselves. Could you imagine the change that would happen? Tonight it would happen. Could you imagine if black men and black women said, hey, you know what? We promise not to say anything bad about each other in public. And if we need to say something via social media, right, to talk about it, we promise that we won't do it anything except on an app that we have that only we give ourselves access to, or on Zoom meetings. And if we do deal with something publicly, we will only do so when we see a black person is being detrimental to their people. That is all. Could you imagine the change that would happen? Right? A promise, a mindset that, hey, and look, you know, I'm not as big of or whatever, you know, even though they got mad love for me and I got mad love for them. But heck, any of these people you watching, from a Do It Ninja to a Woke Mama, if you know these names on TikTok, to a Consciously, to a, what is her name? Silver Fox, or the original Silver Fox, to a, I Speak 1906, to T. Nathan Lokius, right? These are all people that I know. Right? These are people that I got their phone numbers. And I made a promise, especially to certain ones of them. I told them straight up, hey, you will never see me on here. And we've had conversations, some ones where we got up in each other's grill, right? On phone calls, right? And even on some interviews that we've had in the past, right? But we've gotten some stuff where we gone in, right? But I'm not going to do that in front of you guys, because y'all don't need to see. Even if somebody's doing something wrong, you're not going to really see me tearing somebody apart on TikTok. Now, if they're mistreating a black woman and we need to protect our black women, then I'm going to say something. If they're mistreating our black men, I'm going to say something. But they're not doing those things. Those creators that I said, and there's others There's white creators on here to where I had the information. And when they say something, I was quick to be able to get on the phone and say, what are you talking about? Right? You know, if we had that kind of mindset, we would be unstoppable. Matter of fact, we have the ability to do so. We are unstoppable now. The only thing that stops you from activating your being unstoppable is that you don't have a mindset to come together. And that was something that was done on purpose. Right? Like I said, imagine that. Imagine if our mindset was we're going to create an environment where we protect each other no matter what. I'm sorry, Kimberly, you said I think it has to be reintroduced as a possibility. All we see are failed relationships. True that. Here's the deal, though. You know, I think we have to get past. Well, I see what you're saying. It has to be a possibility, you know, so we should make sure that we uplift marriages, which is why I will uplift my beautiful bride, the Honorable Maya, the way that I do. And we should look for people that have been in this for years, which we have a lot of us in the community that actually have been married for years through many trials and tribulations. You know, also, though, one of the things that we should make sure that we start doing is realizing that when we start talking about failed relationships, let's not pretend that other groups of people don't have failed relationships either. And I'm not coming at you specifically about that. I'm just saying in general, you know, let's not forget that we're not the only people that are going through divorce rates. Matter of fact, let's not forget that really up until they put crack in black towns, black people stayed together in marriage longer than everybody else. And let's not forget that, you know, because I went through this, especially in high school, being a token and hanging around a lot of white children. Some of them, now that I look back, I would consider to be rich. A lot of them that just had a lot of money. And I realized that with all my experience and stuff being around people, it was a lot of white people, a lot of white children. Matter of fact, more white children that grew up without fathers in their lives. You know? There was a lot more of that. You know, a lot more people who grew up without fathers in their lives. So, you know, see. But there's a lot of white children that grew up without fathers in their lives. So I realized that the father not in their life, and then when they finally admitted percentage-wise that black men are actually involved in their children's lives more than anybody else in this country, as far as fathers. Now, they aren't always with their mothers, which means that we're still not giving a great example. But if we're that involved with our children's lives, wow. But we were taught the opposite. We were told that we're the problem, right? But it's white men that are actually the least there. And what happened is interesting, though. You know what mamas did, white mamas did? And I'm not saying black mamas should even do this. I'm just trying to show you the difference. While white mamas were out there talking about feminism and all that stuff, I never once in the home ever heard them say a bad word about the father. And I never once heard this is something that blew my mind, even recently, when I think about it. I never once heard a white boy say that he didn't have a father. I never heard him say that he didn't know his daddy. Even if he had never met his daddy, he never said, I ain't got no daddy. He ain't never said, man, F that man, I don't care about. I never heard it one time, because they don't believe in baby mama drama, even if they got baby mama drama. They don't believe it to be a thing. They're not going to even allow it to be in a child's mind. And I'm telling you, I know these boys still, boys that hadn't seen their daddy since they were 4 and never once mentioned him. And if you would mention your father, whatever, they would talk about their father. Then you'd be like thinking to yourself, well, hold up, time out. Well, I'm talking about my father. I see my father every day. And you didn't say anything to interrupt him because you didn't want to make him feel bad, but you'd be listening to him and you realize, I've never seen your father before. What are you talking about? Right? But they protect. Even as wrong as that is, they protect it. They protect each other. Right? So what I'm saying is that if we had a mindset, it's a mindset change. You know, I grew up, at least in high school, my father did his best that he can and worked 2.5 jobs, did very well providing for us, even in the midst of my mother passing away and him having to make sure he was taking care of a lot of business and stuff. He worked his tail off, right? And he made sure that we went to a school system that at the time was considered to be top 3% in the country. So we went to a very good school system, even though I skipped school, for real, because it still didn't interest me. But, I look back at that, sorry, Dad, I could have done better for you, for your sacrifice, But he gets it, he sees where I'm going now, or whatever, and I still got a lot of the experience, right? But he did all that and invested all that time and effort and energy and finance, and we were able to go to a very well-off place. We weren't very well-off, but we were able to go to a very well-off place as far as schooling, get some experiences, travel to some places as children that a lot of children in the country don't really get to go and experience, stuff like that. And all that stuff, I'm telling you, like, when I think back about it now, it was very much so, hey, man, you always saw money funneling in. Even though I didn't have anything, I followed their lead. So I went back to the high school. I gave them advice as far as musically. I told them things as far as, I gave them advice as far as things musically. I gave people advice as far as, this is what we supposed to do. I made sure that whatever I could invest in the high school I went into, even if it was just time and teaching people how to do what I did when I was in school and able to do things, I went back and did that, right? It was a thing where you saw everybody came back year after year. People were in college and they were coming back from college to go to high school. People were doing in their careers, but they would come back to make sure that they invested money and time. They made sure that they showed up to the school plays. They made sure that they showed up to the football games and the basketball games. They made sure that they were putting money in the pocket of school. They were showing up to PTA meetings, all that. They constantly gave back. It was a mindset that they had to make sure that what they came from was going to continue to grow. Not just what they came from would be all right. And that's something that we give people too much credit for too. So-and-so came back. Man, that's so great. They're going to make sure we stay the same. No, their goal was, we're going to be better every year. We're going to make more money every year. We're going to do more stuff every year. We're going to grind more every year. We're going to win more championships every year. We're going to get better grades every year, whatever it was, right? And we have to start having the mindset that carries that same thing, right? But real talk, Hotspot is about to die. So I will go ahead and leave you guys there. It's about time for me to get off anyways. I'm going to try and make sure I send this text to everybody, the link for class, those who are taking natural medicine too. So we'll have that sent to you guys ASAP. Pray for us. Hopefully we'll be back sometime before midnight Eastern New York time. I'm going to take my time though. We made it out past the storm, so at least we made it that far. Thank you so much. I appreciate the King and Queen in each and every one of you. And until I have the next chance to be before you all again, please remember as always that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you're fearfully, wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, family.